Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today I will be featuring Greg Orange's Blue-White Control deck in Standard that is currently being used in the World Championship. The list is in the description below. I'm going to talk about the plan of the deck, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. The first thing I want to say is that I think this is a very brave list to choose for the World Championship, and there are a lot of reasons why. So, we have the card Silver Scrutiny, which is a 2-mana card, so blue, blue, and an X. And you may cast Silver Scrutiny as though it had flash if X is 3 or less, and you draw X cards. And this card being a 4-of is kind of indicative of what this deck is, with Silver Scrutiny and Memory Deluge, which can get you a lot of cards as well. Both of these cards are really good in the control shell because they allow you to get, instead of 2 for 1 in yourself, you can use 1 card to get 4, 5, or 6 cards, right? You have to pay a lot of mana to do that, but the card advantage is very, very real. Now, the interesting part about Silver Scrutiny is that it draws X cards, and in a world filled with Sheoldred, this card seems like it might be a little scary to cast and to use. Now, to go along with that, this deck is a control deck, so we have a lot of counter magic and a lot of ways to kill Sheoldred with Destroy Evil and Essence Scatter and Syncopate, right? And Dissipate. So the idea of this deck really is we want to counter early drops that our opponent plays, and then when we get to the late game, use our card advantage from Silver Scrutiny and Memory Deluge to win with basically the Wandering Emperor and Hullbreaker Horror. This is very much what you would expect from a pure control deck, and I'm interested in seeing how this plays out, just because one of the problems with the current standard deck is that there are a lot of decks that play really powerful creatures and non-creatures. And with Essence Scatter and Negate, it's very, very hard to have a reliable counter for either of those. If you see, our deck does not have Make Disappear, which is the casualty counter spell from New Capenna that it makes your opponent pay 2 to otherwise it's countered. And that can target creatures and non-creatures. But this deck, you have to kind of really hope your spells line up in a way that works for you. And that's why Dissipate's really, really important. And that's basically the kind of idea of this deck. I'm just looking forward to it and watching some of the games played over this weekend, is that I think it has potential to be very, very good, but it seems like your spells really have to line up really, really well against what your opponent is doing, and I don't know how often that's going to happen. But let's go play some games and see how it works. Okay, so we will play first, and I don't think this is a good enough hand, because we really want lands to make sure we can get. We don't have anything to do the first couple turns, and we need another blue to turn on our Dissipate. So I think this is a more keepable hand, and I think I want to throw back a Plains and hope we draw lands. Then we can Syncopate and negate whatever our opponent does, maybe. We really don't want to Silver Scrutiny for 1, because that would be very, very bad. But I guess if worst comes to worst, we can. Our opponent impulses, I think that's okay. It looks like our opponent's on one of the mono blue tempo deck or a blue red tempo deck. And this is a little bit of a problem. And this deck is very, very mana hungry, and you really need to hit your land drops. And so maybe I should have Silver Scrutinied right away. And this is where I don't know where my inexperience with this deck comes from. But I feel like we really want to. We're going to lose if we do Silver Scrutiny for 1, and I think we really need to do it for 2. But this is where, yeah, this is not going well at all for us, sadly. Starting off on a mulligan, though, I think we just had to get lucky, and we didn't. Consider. So if our opponent has a Tolarian Terror, soon it's gonna be a one mana threat, and our opponent definitely has counter magic to back it up. Yeah. So I'm just going to go for the counter spell there. And I think we need to use it. We'll use our most expensive one. And our opponent had to make disappear. And we drew the Wandering Emperor, and so we're just gonna concede. I don't think there's a realistic way, and we'll just step back and relax, and hopefully this one will be better. Now I'm trying to think what we want against our opponent's deck. I think Destroy Evil might be good because it's an instant and can interact with our opponent's Tolarian Terrors and Haughty Djinns, which they most likely have. That, I think then we can get rid of the March. And then, ooh, Disdainful Stroke can counter only the Tolarian Terror, so maybe we don't want that. Farewell also seems very, very expensive. Our opponent, like, Depopulate is just going to be a 4-mana Farewell, since we're most likely only going to be exiling creatures, so we could do that change. And then I don't know what else I want here. Maybe Bankbuster, so we can put it on the second turn to just keep on drawing cards and using up our mana. But I'm not entirely sure what else, so let's go with this and see. Alright, we will play. Now, again, this is already a much better hand, right? Because we also don't have to mulligan. But if our opponent doesn't have a Spell Pierce... Oh... Just please let it be a consider. Alright. But this is really wonderful for us, because now, since our opponent, we can be playing this counter spell game, we can just kind of relax a little bit. While our opponent, hopefully our opponent doesn't flip the Delver here. That'd be terrible for us. Alright, because the Delver flip puts the pressure by, like, a lot. So we can just kind of, you know, draw for a couple turns, build our mana. I'm trying to think if we need... I think we still need our 4 mana here. Alright, oh, ouch. That's not great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Fateful Absence this now. Because I'm very likely to just Reckoner Bankbuster. Ooh. Let's negate then. So I think we want to use up our mana while we can. And make our opponent go down cards. And try to negate as much damage as we possibly can. I think. Our opponent has a make disappear? Okay. So Slip Out the Back is still there. We go to 15. End. Our opponent still has 5 cards in hand. That's a lot. I don't like that at all. Let's draw here. Alright, that's good. So we will just do nothing here. We'll let the consider resolve. We go to 9. And then let's Memory Deluge. See what our opponent does. We might want to negate the counterspell our opponent has. Opponent has a lot of cards in hand. Ooh. So let's do these two. And then we can do this and draw. Fading Hope. Okay. Alright. We have to be careful now, right? Because we don't want to die. We go to 6 here. We get to Memory Deluge again, this one. But we're going to need to get something to get rid of the Insectile Aberration. Hmm. What? Let's get rid of the Memory Deluge. Alright, we go to 3 here. And then Hullbreaker Horror. Which can't be countered. But I wonder what our opponent can do. Fading Hope. Let's negate that. And we'll return the Insectile Aberration, which our opponent will likely maybe slip out the back. Alright. And so now we can, during our opponent's upkeep, we can Memory Deluge. To return that, our opponent has a shore up. Don't have anything else, please? Please? I have no idea what that's countering, but we can't do anything. Alright. Whew. Oh. So we get to breathe a little bit right here. Right. 1 and 2. Hmm. During our opponent's upkeep, we'll do the same thing again. But we're just gonna cycle the Silver Scrutiny. Beautiful. I guess we could have, yeah, seen what our opponent got there. Alright. Ooh. Alright. Now, what do we want? Maybe do we want a march over... Over what? Because March is really only good against Delver. I guess maybe one March over Destroy Evil? Or is that silly? I don't know. Maybe the Wandering Emperor isn't particularly great here. I'm not sure. Alright. The Reckoner Bankbuster really, really helped us there. Alright. So it looks like we're both kind of just on counterspell duty for the time being. Our opponent isn't on the Delver plan anymore. A little too late for that to be very relevant. Oh, did our opponent miss a land drop? Wow. That's a little surprising. Also, I should have played the Adarkar Wastes, probably. To, like, keep up the Wandering Emperor, but that's fine. Let's Essence Scatter. Oh, we can pay it, right? I was gonna try and counter it. It's like, we can pay it. Let's go for Memory Deluge. Alright, negate. Alright, there's the Wandering Emperor, everyone. Let's go here. Now we also want to try and use our Syncopates when we can. Because our opponent has a lot of mana right now. Memory, and also maybe I should have Memory Deluged as well. Oh, okay. Let's make a 2-2. So this might mean our opponent has Fading Hope in hand.
Let your blade do the talking.
Which we're mostly fine with, right? Ooh, Pithing Needle? Okay. We can let that go and attack with this 2/2 for a while. We don't need to counter that yet. Yeah. GG. Okay, we will... I don't like this hand on the play. I don't. But maybe... Do you know what? We'll keep it. We'll keep it. Because, you know, if we mulligan to 6, we're really looking for 3 lands. And we'll draw a land here. Yeah, like, what did I say? What did I say? I knew we would draw one. Though it was probably a hand I should have mulliganed, okay? Let's exile... that. Then go. We have Dissipate for a Fable. Ooh, Blood Tithe Harvester? Okay. Oh. I'll take this so far. Hmm. A cut down would be pretty bad.
Now you've done it. Hats come off. May your blade strike true.
Voltage Surge? Okay.
Until next time, then.
Our opponent did not discard anything. That's not great. Oh. I don't know what our opponent could have here. I guess our opponent could have some type of counter magic. But I guess we can now Silver Scrutiny for 4 and just tap out and hope our opponent doesn't have a Make Disappear. Oh, Evelyn the Covetous. Ooh. Okay. A little dangerous for us. But we'll be fine, right? Reckoner Bankbuster, our opponent gets to connive. So our opponent's on a Evelyn Grixis deck. Probably have some number of invokes. Go. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we're in a good position or not a good position. We're definitely in a position, though. Right? So if we do that, I think... I guess we could Silver Scrutiny for 3. I was like, we really need to get a Farewell. So, all artifacts, enchantments, and creatures. Artifacts, enchantments, creatures. I guess, no, we also probably want to get rid of graveyards. We have a Deluge in our hand, or in our graveyard, but we don't want our opponent to have the artifact. The one that exiles creatures from the graveyard, the vampire that draws cards. We have so many Memory Deluges that we don't really have to worry about losing that one, right? And also, now, I said in the intro of the deck how I was, like, really worried about the number of Silver Scrutinies and Memory Deluges, but it's really working out well here right now for us. I mean, we can basically, we can hit a land every turn. Silver Scrutiny is going to draw us very well.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water.
Voltage Surge, okay.
Still have much to learn. I am almost sad to see you go.
Now, we need to make sure the Hullbreaker Horror, though, doesn't die. Otherwise, we're going to have a very hard time winning. Okay, well, I'm just going to get 2 lands. We can put everything else at the bottom. And I'm just going to exile the Blood Tithe Harvester here.
I hope you're ready to lose.
Our opponent's going to Otawara it, and that's fine. Because now our goal, right, is to just counter whatever our opponent does for the rest of the game. And I think we have the ability to do that. That, if that resolves, that's not good for us. Well, that's not necessarily good for us, but we'll be fine, right? Let's see what we get here. A Negate and a Syncopate.
I have got new news.
We're gonna return it. Go. Let's negate this. Alright. Beautiful. Alright. Our opponent has had enough. So, that's interesting. I think what I want here is the Reckoner Bankbuster. Probably Disdainful Stroke and Negate. Again, our opponent has a lot of creatures as well. So it's very, very hard for us to sideboard correctly because we don't know exactly what we're going to be facing. Like, we know we want more counter magic, but we don't know what the correct amount of each will be. And I think we do want March. This is just very... I don't know, I don't know. We definitely want the farewells, right? Is Disdainful... Do you know what? Maybe Disdainful Stroke isn't as great as I want it to be. And do you know what? Maybe March isn't either. Because we're going to be finding the farewell. And we... But then we also... Problem is we don't have anything to stop all the early pressure that our opponent is going to do. And we're also on the draw, right? I could see temporary lockdown being something too that I want to do. Or even Dennick, honestly, as like something to just do early on. I'm running out of time, so we'll get rid of a negate and add back in a march and done. Okay. As you can see, I'm very good at sideboarding. So who knows what the correct thing to do was. I don't. Alright, we'll keep here. We have 4 mana. And we have something to do. Destroy Evil, it is a 2-drop, but we're not really using it on turn 2 for anything. Unless our opponent then chooses to activate it right now. Fingers crossed. Nope. Extract the truth. I think we just have to counter that. Alright, well. Opponent truth it up by Wandering Emperor? Okay. Let me Memory Deluge now. We're not trying to bluff anything. Right? If our opponent wants to invoke or something, I don't know. Let them. But I'd rather let our Memory Deluge resolve. And then we can figure out what to do from there. And then let's get Dennick into this. I don't know if Dennick is even good. But it will maybe deal some damage, more importantly, buy us some time by gaining us life and having a body there. Which isn't irrelevant, right? Alright, that's only 2. You have another voltage surge? Oh, our opponent made a mistake. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that mistake. Now we can just attack and say go. That's fine. We can destroy Evil the Reckoner Bankbuster. Now, we do want to be aware that our opponent could have Evelyn at any time, but we'll be fine. So, I think I want a Syncopate and a land. And I'm actually fine with that trade, because now we can get Dennick back. And Dennick is good with Fateful Absence, but also counter spells, but we can do that before the trigger even happens. And we get a clue now. Alright, a Spell Pierce and a Dissipate. Well, good thing we did that in response. Okay. So, opponent has so many cards in hand. I mean, as do we, right? But I can still be upset. And I will. Alright, Plains, beautiful. We wanted to draw a land. We're just going to attack for 3 in the air. And we can take 4 a couple of times. Maybe try and get the Memory Deluges out of our graveyard. I was like, maybe our opponent's gonna discard a creature. Our opponent didn't, sadly. Fable is fine. That's fine. Let's do this. See what's up here. Again, we just honestly really want lands. I'll get a Beach and a Wandering Emperor. And then we can say go again. I want to march away this token before our opponent gets treasure. And it's just something to do with our mana, and it saves us some damage. Well, we can take this 4. And then let's go for this Memory Deluge. Get it out of the way, it's the most expensive thing. Oh no, that's actually very bad. Very bad. Okay. Hmm. We will exile all creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. I don't care necessarily about this treasure token. And we can do this for 2, right? I care more about our clue than our opponent's treasure. That doesn't have a creature to get rid of. Want a Wandering Emperor. So we can exile it. Disdainful Stroke. Let's negate the Disdainful Stroke. Negate. Alright. Be able to do 4. So I want to be able to Syncopate for 4. I think I want to Silver Scrutiny for 4. Well, not exactly what I wanted, but 10. We can wait a couple more turns, I think, before we try and Silver Scrutiny. Impulse, fine. I think we have the time. I don't think we're that under that much pressure. I mean, we're on a 4-turn clock. So that is pressure, but... Extract the truth? I guess we want to Silver Scrutiny for 3. In response. And then I guess we counterspell it. Does extract exile? Right. No. And then we get to Wandering Emperor. Don't have make disappear. Negate. Okay. Alright. Everyone. 3, we go to 4. We have, what? 1 more Wandering Emperor? Hullbreaker and Eiganjo. Okay, nice. One and 2. Blood Tithe Harvester. We can Essence Scatter that. Fable is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We syncopate it for 6. Okay. Well, we have the Hullbreaker Horror that can just jump in, lock, and then we have... Does it? Yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's fine as well. Reckoner and March. Return the Malevolent Hermit. One goes to 2. Let's exile that. Return the reflection. That's fine. And that's fine. We will Memory Deluge. I haven't played with Hullbreaker Horror in a long time, so maybe I'm like not understanding how to use it. But I think we're fine. Right? Oh my god. What a game, GG. Well, thank you for watching me play some of Greg Orange's Blue-White Control deck in Standard. This deck was great, and I am very happy to have eaten my words about how worried I was about Silver Scrutiny. It held up to my scrutiny. The deck worked really, really well, and I drew a lot of cards at instant speed with it and at sorcery speed with it. It was a very flexible card, and it was a lot better than I initially thought. Now, granted, we didn't go against any of the Esper decks that you're bound to go up against on the ladder, but I do think this deck can perform very, very well, and it can do really, really well against people who aren't necessarily prepared or know how to play against counter magic decks. You know, I didn't really feel that I was stretching or hoping for a win condition because you drew so much and you have so many cards that the Wandering Emperor and Hullbreaker Horror will happen eventually. You know, we were able to find Farewell whenever we needed it, which was mind-bogglingly surprising, but it worked out and it was wonderful. So yeah, I think if this is your type of deck and you're really itching for, you know, to not play an aggro or mid-range deck, I think this deck can, you know, has its legs to stand on and you can do well with it. And of course, with all that being said, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Great way to help support me and this channel. And if you haven't already, I stream live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. You can watch me over there. I also do coaching, and I have a Discord, and all those links are down in the description below. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Bye.